There are some gadgets out there that are just so insane that it would be rude not to give them a go. Like this. The Colo GCS is the world's first chair-mounted 7.1.2 surround sound system. And it really is mental. But in all of the best ways. Now, this is a product that I did not expect, not necessarily because it's such a crazy idea that, to my knowledge, has never been done like this before, but also because it's from a company that has never attempted or produced anything remotely like this device ever before, and that's Cololight. These guys make some of the coolest modular light systems available, and we've had a bunch of them here on the channel over the years. If you're into the gaming scene and the neon aesthetic, chances are you'll have come across Cololight before. But this is why I was surprised, because never have they ever made an audio device, or at least not that I'm aware of. And instead of doing something traditional like some speakers or headphones, they decided on this thing, which essentially turns your chair into something reminiscent of those gaming recliners that had those speakers in. You know, the ones that popped up in the early 2000s and were only available through the Argos catalogue. Except, rather than being utter trash, you're actually able to put this on some of the most prestigious and luxurious gaming chairs that your wallet can stomach. And that, in my case, is the Secret Lab Titan 2020 model. But I believe that this thing will probably fit around 99% of chairs, especially this type of racing style gaming seat, which has generally become a synonymous silhouette of the industry. But before I go into it in more detail, like with all audio products I feature on the channel, I'd like you to get a feel for my first reactions when testing it. So let me take you back to a couple of weeks ago. Well, okay, let's have a look at this, which is just about the weirdest thing I've been sent for a little while. What would appear like we have very giant instructions, very similar to Secret Lab chair instructions. Okay, look at there. Okay. We're getting somewhere. We are somewhere. I don't know where somewhere is. Let's have a look at this then. I think that goes over like that. There are some bottom straps as well. That then goes so we're adding like a little thing, braces for the chair. Okay, there's me thinking I'd just be able to take it out and pop it on my chair. Oh, hey, look at this. Just say lift with care. Okay, oh, that's easy. And then there's little screws there. Okay, this is actually far easier than I even anticipated. Saying that. Supposed to be some arms or something. These are the arms. Okay, these are like audio. They've got audio attachments on them, which is quite interesting. That just goes in there, I assume. Like that. There we go. Look at this. That's it, assembled. That was actually much easier than I anticipated. But we're in. Ooh. Don't sit down. Oh, I should probably lock this, shouldn't I? Okay, yes, it looks like I can put my pillow back on as well. There we are. Wowee, okay, this is a bit crazy. Interesting they've opted for HDMI port. Right, the buttons have come undone because I'm getting fat, but also they've come undone because I'm trying to work out how to get this paired up to the PS5 because I'm not a PC gamer. Although this appears to be much easier if you are a PC gamer. You can connect it to the PS5, the only problem is you need something called eARC, which is on your display. And this display and that display, both of them don't have eARC. So, I'm going to have to work out what I'm going to do. I think my television inside my house might have eARC, so I'm going to move in there shortly and have a look to test these out. But I thought we'd try at least listen to some audio through Bluetooth. Now, I've got a little button here on the side. I can press this. Bluetooth. It changes the audio to Bluetooth. So let's just play a little bit of music and see what it sounds like through the speakers. Well, it's actually quite a surreal experience because the sound is surrounding me. It's sound rounding me. Let's crank it up. The bass button here. I kind of like it. I kind of like it. It's kind of cool. Let's try another song. What's quite fun is it's making the chair rumble very slightly in the back, which is quite fun. But that's just music. I think now I need to really give it a go at its kind of namesake, which is obviously ideal for gaming, really. So let me go and have a look and see if I can work out how to get this working with the PS5. Right, I have fiddled around for a little while. I have finally managed to hook it up to the television and Xbox. So we're going to play a couple of games of the new Black Ops 6 and get a feel for what this is like. Now, straight away, I can tell you, when I'm flicking through the menu, it's got this little ticking noise. And I don't know if you can hear that on the mic that I'm recording from here, which is this DJI mic. In fact, I might move it up a little bit so you can hear it a bit better. But the ticking noise, when you're changing things on the menu in COD, it sounds like it's in my head. It's really bizarre. I mean, it's not too dissimilar to wearing headphones, right? Because you've essentially got the headphone there and there. But for some reason, it's projecting it like it sounds like it's coming from inside me. I mean, I can hear people to the right of me reloading their weapon on the. This is. Oh my God. I can hear people running around above me. Well, that's because of the speakers. Oh, they're all waiting right around the corner. But this really does honestly give you a much better spatial awareness. Whoa! I say that. It's not made me any better at the game. Then again, I'm not liking this new Black Ops. If you played the new Black Ops 6, let me know what you think in the comments below, but I'm not a fan so far. It is genuinely making a big difference to what I can hear in the game and the sort of my own situational awareness or spatial awareness. I'm very, very impressed. Oh. I am terrible at this new game. It's bloody awful. But these things are so much more impressive than I thought they would be. These have exceeded every expectation that I had. I'm well impressed. So now that you've seen my first test of the Cololight GCS, let's talk about it after a few weeks of trying this thing out in various games and different styles, starting with the setup though, because this was surprisingly easy, much easier than I thought, if you've got a monitor or television with eARC on it. And if you do, it's as simple as plugging it in via the eARC HDMI port on the TV or monitor and then into the device and turning it on. If not, it might be a little bit more complicated, but thankfully Cololight have supplied some rather detailed instructions on how to connect a bunch of different setups and scenarios using this, which, believe me, came in bloody handy. Once set up, there are 2 new wires coming out of the back, which is going to be a cable management aficionado's worst nightmare. Or wet dream, depending on how you look at it. But one consideration here is that they include the HDMI cable that you use to plug it into the eARC isn't the longest. So if you wanted to sit further away from your screen or television, you're going to need a longer cable. I guess this is more designed for that gaming desk setup because you've got a gaming seat, so it probably doesn't matter. But once you've actually got going, the sound is actually bloody useful. And super immersive. Look, I get it. This thing looks mad, but I cannot begin to express how interesting this device is from a sound perspective. Because it has completely directional sound from one of the many speakers on it, you really get a feel for the environment in-game. So for example, on Black Ops, when wearing headphones, quite often someone is stomping around like an elephant next to me, or perhaps on the floor above or below, and I've always found it slightly difficult to really pinpoint exactly where that sound is coming from. In my opinion, most headphones, even those that have spatial audio or tout to be amazingly spatial, have limited ability to create that pinpoint soundscape, which can generally help you pick out the locations of where people are or things are in the environment. This, on the other hand, it's a completely different story. If someone's running around you, you'll get completely directional audio from one of the 11 speakers which are surrounding me in this kind of cage of audio. So now, if someone is running around in the room above or below me, let's go with above, for example, you now get audio from one of the upper speakers coming above you, so you know where they are. And it makes more of a difference than I anticipated it would do. For anyone wanting a competitive advantage, this is going to give it to you. And for anyone wanting a complete immersive experience in gaming, this will also give you that as well. But another thing that I really, really like is not just the directional audio, but the bass. Now, it's perhaps not as strong as I'd like, even at maximum bass, but to give you an idea of the depth, it is strong enough to feel the chair back rumble right down the back when there are things like explosions going on, which for me is a damn sight more immersive than headphones pinging out tinny sounds for sure. But I think this has got a lot of other use cases rather than just being for those who want professional advantage or immersive experiences. For starters, if you've got a small room and are unable to hook up a full surround sound system in enough space, but you still want that surround sound experience, then this is absolutely the right gadget for you, because it creates something very, very similar, and it takes up an absolutely tiny amount of space being sat on just the top part of my chair. And because it's on the chair, it's mobile too, so no matter which way I'm looking or spinning or reclined or moving around, I'm going to get equal and even sound no matter where I sit in the room, as long as I'm on this chair that it's attached to, of course. So that's a benefit this has over surround sound. But another thought is that it can be a little bit quieter than a surround sound system and still deliver the same experience. And that's simply because the speakers are closer to your head. It's almost if this is the missing link between headphones and a full surround sound system. Think the Homo erectus of gaming audio, which is definitely a sentence I never thought I'd say. If this is that missing link between headphones and surround sound, it does beg the question, why on earth would you have this rather than the other two? And the answer to that is quite simply that it offers a very unique experience that only this thing can for all of the above reasons. It's got better directional audio than headphones whilst being a fraction of the size of a surround sound system. And I think for Cololight's first foray into audio technology, they've certainly given it a bloody good shot. But that, of course, doesn't mean that it's perfect. There's certainly a couple of things that I think could have been done potentially a little bit better or a bit differently. The first is the audio connectivity. There is only HDMI, eARC and Bluetooth. Now, I think that it would have been great to have seen other types of audio connectivity on this alongside those connectors. It's not exactly a deal breaker, and obviously it has advantages using eARC, but it might mean that this product just isn't suitable for you if your display doesn't support eARC, just like the first two that I tried at my gaming desk setup. They weren't even old displays, perhaps they're only, a couple of years old? And also, I'd perhaps like to see more of an integrated cable solution, perhaps one cable that blends power and HDMI together and then forks them off near the end or near the source. That way you'd have less cables trailing everywhere, and for people like me who have a distinct inability to manage cables, it would be a benefit. But perhaps the biggest thing I have to comment on, and one that I can't really understand, is the lack of lighting on this device. This might be an audio product, but being from Cololight, whose main lineup are all RGB lighting solutions, I'd have expected at least a smidgen of lighting. And that's because the only light on this is the LED indicator on the inside buttons. So it seems to me like they've missed quite a trick there, because think how cool this would look with lights all the way around it, like something from Tron or Men in Black about to wipe my brain. Now, I realise that there may be a reason for this. It might simply be that as an early version that Cololight are essentially using to test the waters, they'd stuck with audio. Or maybe it's something even simpler, such as that if they included lights, perhaps it would make the arms too heavy for them to be mounted on the seats. I don't know, but it's certainly a very distinctive tangent from the technology that Cololight produce. And is it a bad tangent? No, absolutely not. I mean, they could have literally dipped their toes into audio in any number of the, what I would consider safe ways. You've got headphones, speakers, earbuds, take your pick. But to go from smart RGB lighting to, well, this, that is a brave move indeed. But now on to the most important thing. How much is this brave product going to cost you? This is launching initially through Indiegogo at an early bird price of $499 with an expected RRP of $699 when it finally hits the shelves, which, to be honest, is around what I expected. For a decent directional pair of headphones, you'd spend perhaps around that sort of price, slightly less if you get some of the more value options. And again, for full surround sound, you'd expect to pay easily that, and then potentially some on top of that. So for being the midpoint between headphones and surround sound, I think the price is very, very reflective of that middle ground. If you want to take a look at this for yourselves, I'll drop a link to the Indiegogo page below for you. But, disclaimer time. The model I've been testing has been an early prototype that I've gotten my hands on before the launch. It may be that by the time you watch this episode, it will be available off the shelf to purchase directly. However, if it still is only available on crowdfunding websites, all of the usual precautions apply when backing a product through this method, and all of the risks associated with doing so are yours to bear entirely. Now, all of the risks can be found at the trust and safety pages of Indiegogo, which I will link below for you. But to bring this episode to some kind of conclusion and to summarise my thoughts on this, quite frankly, bizarre product, it's better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, this is a form factor that I'm just not used to. And because of that, I thought it was going to be a bit silly, but it really has surprised me. Because it's good. Very good. And I think it's good because it's actually innovation. It delivers a brand new audio experience to gaming that only this form factor can. It's unquestionably very, very strange looking. But when you use it, you actually realise how much it makes sense. What do you guys think of the Cololight GCS? Gimmick or actual innovation for a change? Let me know in the comments below so we can all have a good chinwag about it. And if you've enjoyed today's episode on some slightly unusual technology, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys back for another episode of STU'S Reviews soon.